This video is a quick review for what you will have on your quiz on Wednesday, which covers sections 9.1 to 9.4. 9.1 and 9.2, we learned how to graph a quadratic function. We're graphing the entire parabola, which represents all of the possible solutions for inputs and outputs for this particular quadratic function. We graph that by finding the axis of symmetry, where x equals the opposite of b over 2a. That gives us the x value for our vertex. We plug in that x value to the quadratic equation and get our y value for that particular x. And that ordered pair gives us our vertex. We then find a second point, which is the y-intercept. If the vertex was already the y-intercept, then we plug in 1 or 2 for x. So we're either plugging in 0 for x, or 1, or 2, or some other number for x to get a y value, and that represents our second point. And then we reflect that point that we just got in step 2 in order to have our 3 points that we need to draw our parabola. So that was section 9.1 and 9.2. That's how we graph the quadratic function. 9.3, we solved the quadratic equation when y equals 0 by graphing, and we got either 2, 1, or no zeros. Then we learned our second method where we took the square root. We can only take the square root when b equals 0. So we solve for x, we isolate the variable, get a coefficient of 1. Then we get an exponent of 1 by taking the square root of both sides. Notice that positive or negative there in red. It's a very important step you don't want to forget. When you take the square root of the right side, make sure that you take the positive and the negative root. Then 9.4, what we just finished, is our third method of solving. We solve by factoring. We factor the trinomial, or whatever, however many terms are in the polynomial, but we factor that quadratic. We set each factor equal to 0 and solve each of those factors for when the variable x, or in this case m, we want to find the value that will make the whole equation equal to 0. So those are the 4 sections on your quiz. You will have to graph a quadratic function. You will have to solve several quadratic equations. You will not solve by graphing. On the quiz, you will solve by using the square roots and or using factoring. Good luck.